So this time I'm going to have a look into uh, gateway number 62, hexagram number 62 in the Human Design Book of Lines. Okay, so we started this series on where the sun moved into gateway number 15, which was the solstice, the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. And wherever there's one of these gateways that are in what we call the self center or the G center in the middle of the human design chart, wherever the sun passes through one of these gateways, there's always a kind of change in season right after that. So I'll explain more as we get into this series, but we came out of the 15th gateway hexagram and we moved into three gateways that are in the root center of the human design chart. And the root center providing pressure or an inclination to change a little bit or change one's direction or change one's sense of purpose, like shift gears a little bit. And when we come to the gateway number 62, which is the last of the four gateways that have to do with the throat center, right? All of a sudden, from this pressure in the root center to make a shift of some sort, we come back into the throat center to be able to express and put into language what our intentions might be or how we're going along or the story to date. So here we're going to go into gateway number 62. And the 62 is this gateway we call express details, or I'm calling it expressing details today. Always good to look at something in a present tense situation. And here's the wheel. Here's a picture of the wheel. And we see we're in the bottom right-hand corner here. And it's activating the gateway in the throat center. And the potential on the other end of the channel there, gateway number 17, which is the gateway we call following, as in following logical considerations, right? This thought leads to this thought, leads to this thought. And so these two make up what we call a logical channel, the channel of organizing. And logic is something that's always aiming towards the future. Because of this, then this becomes the next thing. So we might say it's very tied into science. And science works on this basis. So you experiment with something enough and you consider this is a proven fact now. Until, of course, somebody comes along and does another kind of experiment and finds out, well, that was the case, and now this. So the whole process of logic is always, always moving forward. The difficulty for logic is you only get stuck in dogma. This is the only way it can be. Science has proven it. I'm not going to take any more input. This is my opinion and it's fixed and this is it. And so the 62 is always playing within this realm of, is it actual fact or is it just expressing something that as far as can be told is logical and fits within the scheme of events? But you'll see humanity gets in a lot of trouble when dogma is presented. Well, this is the only way it can happen. We've always done it like this. We're always going to do it like this. This is fact. This is it. And we all suffer the consequences of that when we do not have the possibility of moving forward. So let's have a look, see. Express details or expressing details. The whole thing about the 62 expressing details is to bring around clarification. This is what I think. This is what I'm talking about. This is how this particular thing seems to work. And I say much ado about anything as long as you express and define details that are of value to the present and the future. Are they logical? Do they actually fit into any scheme of events at this moment in time? Right? So that's the basis of the 62, expressing details at the throat center. And here, your logical organization of all matters in life become possible through attending to all pertinent and relevant details. When you express logical thoughts, it does not mean that they are always completely correct or have to be acted on, right? You're just making a suggestion, right? That's what the 62 is all about. It could be like this. This is how I see the program so far. This is how things might come together. So the 62 is always looking to be able to express in language the best possible way of going about something. You want to get from A to Z or A to Z, let's go to B first, then we'll go to C, then we'll go to D, and we will walk our way through things. Here's the setup. Get your ducks in order. This one first, then this one. Okay. So there's a lot of practicality around it, a lot of consideration around it. And we will see as we go through the lines just how effective all of these things are. So 6 lines, as in all particular hexagrams in the I Ching. And this particular 62 is going into effect, I think it's on the late night on the 12th of July this year, 8:24 p.m. Pacific time. So for most people, the 13th, we will see the sun going into the 60-second gateway and having this radiant effect in our lives. So let's have a look at these lines. First line, being practical. How about that? You're going to express details about things. You know, this is what my story is so far. These are all the things I pulled together. Let's make it practical. I'm not going to go outside things that I'm not clear about at the moment. Proceeding towards what is attainable and aligned, right? Attainable because it's fact at the moment and it's aligned with where we want things to go, okay? So if you confine yourself to essential details in life, you're well prepared for many challenges, right? What's the essential needs of any particular moment? Something comes along, how am I going to express in this situation? So there's the great thing about the 62, having this tremendous flexibility of being able to say all kinds of different things according to the actual needs of a situation. That's the foundation. First lines always give the foundation for the hexagram. So here Neptune gives it a particular flavor. Your gift of imagination will always enhance the potentially mundane aspects of your life. Right, so there's one particular side of the 62 with the first line. Yeah, these are the facts, these are the details. However, we can embellish, we can expand on, we can make things much more interesting, possibly. Mars always had a little bit of a tendency to get into things. You know, let me just jump in here. You express your plans as actions, right? Instead of just, well, here's how it could be. This is the action with the possibility of talking your way into trouble. All of a sudden, oh, I just said that, now I'm doing it. So the 62 is just a voice, it's just an expression of facts and details and possibilities. But Mars can always give it that push. Oh, I just said I'd do that. Look, now I've talked my way into trouble. The second line being sensible, reaching out to give and receive aid. You know, one may not know all the details of a situation. One may be held up in things. Second lines don't always have all the inclusion of everybody else's input. They're very much working from their own perception of things. So second line can look around. Well, who's got the details that I really need here? Who can assist? You'll always find that needed assistance is available if you persevere diligently in your own way. What do we say about second lines? Be natural, right? Be natural. Just go into something. You find out you don't know how to do it. Look around. Is there a possibility of getting assistance? The Jupiter side of this, staying with your process, you give help when needed and receive help when it's offered. And just that's the plus side of it, is just give and receive. It's a perfect balance of expressing the details, the facts as much as is known, and receiving input on these are the gaps in what's being said here. And then Mercury has if you have an anxiety that is hard to restrain when you consider yourself bound by traditions. And here it is, it's getting into this whole thing of dogma. The tradition is, well, it only works this way. This is what science is telling us. And we know, you know, in the early days of flying, what was it? They had a hot air balloon and they didn't think humans were able to go in a hot air balloon because, you know, they live on the ground. And so what did they put? A duck and a goat in this hot air balloon, sent the thing up. And when it came down, they found out the duck and the goat were fine. All right, we'll try people next. So gravity, you know, we all assume there is only gravity. Life brings everything down to earth, and then we find out actually things can fly. And we have this thing called maglev, you know, these rapid trains now that can move at high speed because the magnets defy gravity one way or another. So many, many different ways of seeing things, but getting stuck in dogma and the only way things can happen can really hold things back. Third line, being unassuming, recognizing the need to downplay a tendency for overconfidence. The third line always has this tendency to go, well, come on, let me just do this. It looks like interesting. It looks fun. It looks like, yes, I've got all the bits and pieces in place here. Your good judgment, common sense, and preparedness always prevail in difficult situations. So third lines, there's always that rapid learning curve in third lines. You know, touch and go. You try something out and find out, does it work or not? And third lines are always experimenting with life. And so with the 62, it can be saying something and just seeing, did it hit the spot? Did everyone get what was being presented here? So there is that thing of knowing what it is you're about to do or about to suggest before you put all your energy into it. The Venus side of things, imposing your need for harmony over everything else, can cause you to act unreasonably. Right? We're going to say the 62 is all about expressing reason. These are the details. This is what's needed. Here's the program. It's not necessarily a imaginative thing so much as more as these are the facts, this is the issue, and let's deal with it. So Venus can very often, oh, come on, let's fudge it a little bit. We get to the fourth line, and the fourth line, being patient. We say about all fourth lines, they have this looking for the gap, looking for the opportunity. They have this tremendous availability to be influential. They've got the ticket, they've got the program, they know what's going on here. And there's then that hesitancy. Am I going to be appreciated for this? Are people going to join me in this? Is it going to be we all together, or is it just going to be me and kind of wondering, do I have my bases covered here? So being patient, being watchful for principled opportunities, the principle of, have I got all my ducks in a row? And am I paying attention to my type on authority to know if this is my opportunity to express? Also, if I do express, am I saying I'm going to do it as well? Or I'm just saying, here's a great opportunity for everybody. This is how things could really turn out in great benefit for all. You accept the need to be cautious, especially in situations when you see yourself as right. Right? Oh, but I know I'm right. I've got it right. And not everybody's on the page with you. And then there can be certain difficulties. So Venus, with your particular sensitivity, you observe how life is enhanced by discrete interventions. Like just seeing where the timing is, how to be patient, who's ready for it. Do you actually have the voice in that moment in time that people are going to listen to? And then Pluto, seeing ways to transform every area of life, you push for opportunities to be assertive. And a fourth line, yes, definitely can be influential, definitely can be assertive. But you'll know there are certain moments in time when that really doesn't work. And for the fourth line to have put out something where they know they're right, they've got it, and yet everybody is saying, no, we don't want to have anything to do with this, that can be very, very disheartening. We get to the fifth line. The fifth line is this line of natural leadership, natural guidance, natural teaching possibilities. And the line's called being considerate. Planning, preparation, and performance. So we'll just see, everything's coming together, and then it's like, how does it all come together? How does it come together in a way that is practical? That's always the issue for the fifth line, practicality. When everything is in place, there comes a time of identifying when and how to proceed. All the details are in, all the facts are in, everything's right. And the fifth line is ready to take the leadership, is ready to make a move forward and just give the guidance that's needed there. And we always have to remember about fifth lines. Is it something that's practical, or is it something that's pie in the sky? Is it totally impractical, but it looks great, sounds great? When you move steadily from one state to another, you align details with outcomes. And there's the step, is steady shift from one stage to the next. Logic always has a definite step-by-step process. It's a collective process. It's a sharing process. You take one step forward. Everyone with me? Everyone got it? Let's do another step. So when you move steadily from one state to another, you align details with outcomes. Everybody is able to join in and see where it is you're taking them. With Neptune here, you're often ready to move on life, but continue to remain lost in your imagination. Oh, what about this? And what about that? And here's another thing I didn't consider. And yeah, you get the picture? Planning, preparation, and performance. You get the thing together, you get it prepared, and then you make it work, or you put it out in a way it can work. But there's no point in being a leader if there's nobody who can get where you're trying to take them. The sixth line, accepting limits, recognizing practical limitations in all your endeavors. You know, have we come to that state of instant manifestation these days? I say it and it becomes. Who knows? Who knows what might come in the future? But the sixth line says, you know, I can see all the way of different ways of expressing the details, you know, everything in place. But inevitably, there's bound to be limitations. There's bound to be certain things that crop up that just make it very, very hard to move forward on things. You need to exercise reserve if you're going to interact within the scope of your abilities. It's just that thing of recognizing certain things can move forward and certain things are not. They're not ready. Science has to be a step-by-step process. Logic is a step-by-step situation. And you know, with logic, just as you can argue one side of a situation, you can argue the logical side of the other side too. So there is always going to be that potential limitation. I'm just telling you, this is how it's right. This is the way it always works. And other people say, well, what about this? What about that? What about the other? There can always be an antithesis to whatever it is that's being expressed. And here with Saturn's input, you discipline yourself to remain clear in your intentions when confronted by limits in life. Okay, what are the long-term goals? What's the future outcome I'm really looking for here? And then staying clear within that and seeing, all right, there are limitations, there are things going to crop up, but let's not lose sight of where we're going. And then the Mercury side of it, you have the intellect to appreciate your limits, but often lack the intent to maintain them. So you lose track of the vision, you lose track of the ultimate goal of where you want things to go, and you drift off and you get caught up in other distractions of things. So there we are. That's what I have to share with you, the 60-second hexagram, and we'll watch this one in these days coming as the sun goes through there and finding how's it going to affect us? Are we going to find ourselves impelled or encouraged to put forward our plans or our concepts and ideas and, you know, the programs, and just to see, you know, there's that difference between actually saying something as, well, this is how I see it, and then getting involved in it and, oh, did I just say I'd do that? And now I've got to go and do it. All right, let's see how the week turns out. See you next.